Guys, welcome back to another episode of Rennch. On today's show, we are going to be doing some sandblasting, not only on the Blasphemy build, but on a very famous K-swapped Ferrari you may be following on YouTube. We are also going to refurbish a bunch of my suspension components by sandblasting and painting, and we are going to turn a lot of hardware that looks like this into hardware that looks like this. All right, guys, this is sort of major update number 2. Got a lot of really fun things happening in the shop right now. Yesterday, I went down to Costa Mesa and did some work on a very famous Ferrari that you might recognize. I will show you the video of that shortly. Also, we're going to use a technique called bluing for my suspension hardware, something I've never done before, so it's kind of fun for me to explore how to do it. And it's pretty cool. Like, I'm able to take these bolts that look kind of old and crappy and zinc and turn them into this lovely uniform black color. So I'm doing that with all of the random hardware on my suspension. But first, we've got to clean up the stuff that I already have. Many of you know that I have a little side business called Fresh Steel, and that is a mobile dustless sandblasting service. I can go and That is a mobile dustless sandblasting service. I can literally go strip an entire car in a driveway. So many of you guys wrote me and said that Mike Burrows, who is Stanceworks, he's building that amazing K-swap Ferrari, needed to get his engine compartment blasted so he can get the final run of SEMA done with the paint and getting everything assembled in his engine compartment. So I reached out and said, dude, I can totally do that. And so we made a little bit of a trade. I went down there and blasted his Ferrari's engine compartment. He was nice enough to weld up my CSF radiators. I'm going to polish them up a little bit, install them on the car, and forget about them for now. But really cool that I get to check them off the list. And without further ado, here's a little montage of everything I just talked about.
Not
Good
unexpected.
and naked. It's good though. Well, guys, you know how legendary my lack of TIG skills are. Today I'm here at Stanceworks with Mike Burrows in the background. There he is, building that rad Ferrari. And I'm actually today blasting the engine compartment with my little Fresh Steel company. And he was nice enough, because he knows a lot more about TIG welding than I do, which is, I literally know zero. So by virtue of the fact you know any of it.
Not much, but some.
He was nice enough to say that he would weld up my CSF radiators, which, you know, you guys saw me cut in the last episode. So thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
These were just end tanks, and that's all there was.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about radiators. Again, I've been an air-cooled dude forever.
Figure out which way the triangle fits best. There's literally no way to get better at it than to do it. You can watch all the videos you want, you can read all the theory, you can do literally everything, but if you're not actually doing it, you're not going to get any better.
So what I'm going to do is grab a bunch of stuff that was on this race car when I bought it. And for those of you who forgot or don't know the story, this car was a full purpose-built race car that never got raced. It was completely built, roll cage, all the crazy duct work, all the suspension mods, like everything was there. Then they got into a falling out, and the car sat in a showroom for 25 years until I bought it, decided to bring it back to a street car and make this lovely piece of kit. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that had really cool engineering. So I'm gonna sandblast a bunch of the stuff. It's like steering rack. There's covers for things. My front cross member is aluminum, but it's like kind of like beat up old aluminum, and I wanna make it fresh looking. and then combine that with some fresh looking hardware, and I have the recipe for a pretty nice looking suspension. Okay, so here's my initial pile of things I want to blast. You can see the closer I get, the worse these components are. Obviously, all of this stuff needs to be cleaned up. All right, guys, I'm ready. The machine is ready. I've got my 3M mask, which is eye protection and a filter. I've got these 3M headphones, not headphones, but earmuffs, so you can't hear. Then I've got these sandblasting gloves. Everything went as I'd hoped. I'm actually most excited about how much these aluminum trailing arms cleaned up. Like, it really got rid of a ton of just surface gross. It was just scratches and stuff. So I'm gonna try to see if I can take like a 3M scrubbing pad or something to smooth them out, but they look really, really good. My steering rack, which I'm gonna paint right away, looks great. Here's the knuckle. And I cleaned up a very old oil tank I've had, only to discover that it's got a bunch of rusted holes in it. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to rehab it. I might. I have something I think that would be rad to do with this thing, and I would really like to pull it off, but I don't know if time will permit, especially if I can't weld on this thing. And I'm gonna hit these with my favorite paint, which is very cool, which is this VHT roll bar and chassis. I just love the finish. I think it looks great. I've got a lot going on right this very second. I've got stuff drying over there on the rack. I've got these nuts and bolts that need to be blued. I'm gonna show you the first step. You see how this bolt has zinc all over it? I've got some phosphoric acid, which is prep and etch from Clean Strip. I don't know, they say to use muriatic acid. I think this also still works, but basically you submerge the bolt in the acid and it'll start bubbling. You leave it in there until it stops bubbling, which then means that the reaction is over and the zinc is stripped. In the meantime, I have thrown a wire wheel on my drill and literally taken 60 seconds on this front cross member. You see the sandblasted version here, and then this is the 60-second version. Oh, it's hard to tell, but this is lovely and smooth and totally cleaned up. It looks literally brand new. So while that thing is aciding, I'm going to give this thing another full run, top and bottom, left and right, and get this thing to tip-top shape. I have this entire cup to blue, so it's gonna be a little while. So I've already done a few. These were actually totally disparate. These were gold zinc, this was chrome, and this thing, I was like super impressed with this. This thing was really rough, and focus, little guy. Yeah, this thing was like really rough and all like different colors, and it stripped all of it off, and now I have this lovely, perfect blue one. All right, I'm just checking on my nuts and bolts here that have been in the acid for like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna throw them into the hot water. They're in here doing science. They look like something happened. They went in gold and they came out silver. All right, we'll take this first one. This was the gold one. Ain't no more gold. So now we dry this well. This should theoretically be pretty rinsed. So then I have my bluing liquid in a in like a little separate cup. And I mean, the second that you put it on, it works. Like, it's instant reaction. So basically you just leave the bluing liquid on as long as you, like, as dark as you want it to get. So there it is. I do another rinse. Gonna stop the bluing process. And it's a chemical reaction. It's not like paint. So like once it's on, I can't scrape it off. Like this is what it is. So I just rinsed it with water. I'm rubbing it, and it's not like it's coming off in my hands. Like this is the color. I'm actually gonna go back and add a little more. I want it to be a little darker. But you hit it with steel wool, and it leaves like a really nice finish. You do that, and then also just a light coat of oil, and it looks like brand new. Like it looks like a brand new bolt. All right, here's a little hack. I actually just submerged the nuts and bolts in the bluing solution and mixed them around, and the finish just looks way better than when I painted it on. All right, guys. So as I don't have a ton of time to show you everything I'm doing, I thought this was particularly interesting, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. This is a bracket to hold the radiators onto the front of the car. And I wanted a nice rounded side on it instead of having it cut off square. So what I've done here is I've just bolted a washer on, if it will focus for me. I just bolted this washer on, and you can see it's sort of hanging out the outside. I'm just going to use a grinder and kind of hit this thing around the outside here. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to give me a much nicer rounded profile than I could do by myself. All right, there it is. Looks perfect. I'm gonna give this thing a quick sand and then hit it with some paint and be done with it. Let me show what I did last night until like midnight. I am absolutely burning the midnight oil on this. Okay, got my entire now refurbished steering system in, and look how dope this all looks. It looks really good in there. I'll show you underneath. My refurbished bar, steering rack is in there, and that is bolted in. Today I'm going to refurbish these, which hold the bushings, and get my front A-arms all done. So that is a huge win. I've also made a big decision that you guys are going to be happy about. And I talked to Johnny at Classic Retrofit and decided to go with mounting my battery on top of the smuggler's box. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, there it is in situ. I will probably do something with it, maybe make them both black, something to make them disappear a little bit more. But this is actually the best solution. I was able to still get my air conditioning to mount in the smuggler's box, and this will go on top. It'll be a bit of a pain in the ass to access if I need to, but no big. Here are the covers for the intakes here. Got those all refurbished yesterday, so they look really good and brand new. Got these in the mail yesterday, which are the version 6 of my 3D printed taillight housings. And these are actually carbon fiber and nylon impregnated. So can't wait to get these things in. They of course go in here in my custom molded taillights that I did with the help of Send Cut Send. And these things came out so good. So these housings will go inside like that. And then right now I'm waiting for Lauren Teal to send me the lenses. And then the taillights will be complete. Let's look at that lovely curve while we're here. And that is it for now. So what I'm going to do is sandblast the front suspension now and get those things painted. And then I don't know what, but something else, because I have a giant list of things to do. All right, 5 minutes later, and we have a pair of super clean, brand clean, as my mom used to say. Brand clean A-arms. Okay, this is all my remaining suspension bits, all looking completely factory fresh. I can't get enough of this VHT roll bar and chassis. They're not a sponsor, but man, does this stuff leave this lovely, you can get satin or gloss, but I get the satin, and it just looks like a factory finish. It's so good. All right, all my suspension pieces are drying. They look factory fresh. I am super excited that they are all complete. One thing I wanted to mention is when I blasted Mike's car from StanceWorks, he was nice enough to weld my radiators up because I can't weld aluminum. And he did a bang up job on them. Check that out. They look really good, like very stealth fightery. And he's a great welder. He won't tell you that, but his stuff looks really good. And I am sort of at the beginning stages of repolishing these. I don't know how far I'm going to go, but I would like them to be uniform. They're really like, after 2 years of rattling around my garage, they don't look very good. So I want to take some of my newfound polishing skills and apply them to this. I might make them satin like that because it's a little easier than polishing to a mirror finish. Anyway, thank you, Mike, for being a badass welder and getting these pieces complete for me. Really, I just need to clean them up and then I can mount them on the car for the last time. I think I'm finally ready to get these A-arms on and wrap this video up. All of the nuts and bolts have been completely refurbished. The A-arms have been refurbished. The bushing carriers have been refurbished. In fact, I've still got race bushings in there from the original race car. They're a little dry. I've actually added some Vaseline to them to try to re-lubricate them. Don't know if that'll work. And then added some actual lube. But they've never been used. Like all of this race car stuff has literally never been used on this car before. So hopefully it works. But let's bolt it together and get the suspension on. All right, guys, that was a very productive few days. I was going to summarize what I did, but I kind of don't remember. I do know that I got all my steering rack. I refurbished a bunch of stuff, sandblasted a bunch of stuff, installed a bunch of stuff. So I feel pretty good about that. I also want to say welcome to all of the StanceWorks guys. Video is like 2 or 3 days old on the StanceWorks site, and I think I have I got 1,700 new subscribers. So welcome to all you guys. I'm really psyched that you're here. It's kind of tradition around here. If you are new, even if you're not new, I'd love to see again where you guys are from. So in the comments, just comment where you are watching this from, because it's really cool for everybody to see our global reach on YouTube. It's very cool. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much. If you are brand new, go check out some of the previous videos. We've done now 93, I think. This is video number 93. So you've got a long way to catch up and binge if you want. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.